Hello everyone, welcome to Ritika's online teaching academy. Today I will talk about the CAM pathway. In the previous lecture, we have studied about the C4 cycle, in which we have seen that how the plants have adapted themselves in order to carry out the photosynthesis. In the same way, we can say there are some other plants which are found in very hot and very dry climates, and they have adapted uh, for the photosynthesis to carry out the uh, CAM pathway. So now I'll discuss about it in detail. Let me share my screen with you. Okay. So CAM pathway is also known as crassulacean acid metabolism. So these plants, uh, the photosynthesis in these plants is also known as the CAM photosynthesis. And as I said, its full form is crassulacean acid metabolism. Why it is called as crassulacean? Because these plants are generally stone crops which are belongs to family Crassulaceae. Hence the name of these plants as crassulacean acid metabolism and the photosynthesis CAM photosynthesis. Now, plants, as I said earlier, that these plants are found in very hot and very dry environments. So they have the CAM pathway. And what type of plants carry out this type of photosynthesis are mainly succulents. For example, cactus and pineapple. So this is also a carbon fixation pathway. As we have seen in previous lecture about the C3 and C4 cycle, those are also the carbon fixation pathways. And in the same way, CAM plants, which are found in very hot and very dry climates, in order to carry out photosynthesis, they have developed a mechanism for carbon fixation pathway. And we will discuss about this pathway in detail. So these are some pictures of succulents, for example, cactus and pineapple. Now, as I said that these plants are found in very hot and very dry climates. Hence, the stomata of these plants would remain closed. Why? In order to reduce the water loss by evaporation as well as by transpiration. Hence, the combined name is given to them as evapotranspiration. Now, these plants fix carbon dioxide during the night. So their stomata opens during the night. Means we can say here that here, unlike the C4 plants, where the carbon dioxide fixation is spatially isolated, means their carbon dioxide fixation, or we can say photosynthesis, occurs or carry out by the spatial differentiation between the mesophyll cells and the bundle sheath cells. But this is not the case with the CAM plants. So these plants fix CO2 during the night. Means here the time division is there. Means the photosynthesis occurs in the same cell but at the different timings of the day. So during the night they fix the carbon dioxide and their stomata would remain open, because in the during the day there is the chance or problem of the water loss. So during the day the stomata are closed. So how the CO2 and water would be captured? It is not possible during the day. Hence during the night these plants fix CO2 as their stomata would remain open during the night time only. So in the night, what would happen? The CO2 and the water. Why I am saying here water? Because during the night time, the atmosphere would be cool. There is moisture in the environment. So CO2 along with the water molecules diffuses into the mesophyll cells and is stored in the vacuole in the form of 4-carbon acid, malate or malic acid. Why there is the case of storing 4-carbon acid or malic acid? Why there is no photosynthesis in the night time? Why? Because the carbon fixation also dependent upon the light dependent products such as ATP and NADPH, which would be available during the daytime only, and they are not available during the night. Hence, CO2 comes into the mesophyll cells and is stored in the vacuole in the form of 4-carbon acid, which is malic acid or malate, and it is then released during the daytime when the ATP and NADPH are available in order to fix the carbon dioxide. So we can say that during the daytime this malate is transported to the chloroplast and then converts into CO2 again and is used in the photosynthesis. So here what we have seen that photosynthesis, we have seen in C3 as well as C4 plants, there is the involvement of mesophyll cells chloroplast. Only in C3 plants also we have seen that in palisade mesophyll cells chloroplast photosynthesis takes place. In C4 plants we have seen that their CO2 fixation, actually Calvin cycle, occurs in the bundle sheath cells, not in the mesophyll cells. But in SCAM plants we are seeing that in mesophyll cells chloroplast itself the photosynthesis takes place, but there is a division between the time. Means during the night that CO2 is captured and during the daytime that CO2 is released in order to carry out the photosynthesis. So we can understand it by the help of one diagram also later. So CAM pathway is a two-part cycle during the day and during the night time. So here the division of the CAM pathway is shown during the night and during the daylight. So during the night time, what happens? The process is driven or started by the starch. So starch is stored in the chloroplast. This green color structure is chloroplast and this white color structure is vacuole, and this rectangular shape is representing the mesophyll cells, and these chloroplast and vacuoles are there in the mesophyll cell, and this yellow part is the mesophyll cytoplasm. So it starts from the starch in the chloroplast. What happens during the night time? The stomata would remain open. So CO2 along with water molecules enters inside the mesophyll chloroplast or diffuses into the mesophyll cells. So starch here converts into triose phosphates in order to release the PEP. PEP is the phosphoenol pyruvate and is the first acceptor, or we can say we have seen this molecule also in the C4 cycle. So some steps of the CAM pathway are similar to that of the C4 pathway. So first acceptor molecule of CAM pathway is the PEP, which is released by the starch, which is present in the chloroplast. So this PEP accepts that CO2 molecule. The CO2 when along with the water molecule enters into the cytoplasm of mesophyll cell, they converts into the bicarbonate ion. This bicarbonate is combined with the PEP to form a 4-carbon acid, which is oxaloacetic acid. In the short form we can say it as OAA. This oxaloacetate with the help of malic dehydrogenase enzyme converts into the malate, and in this process one NADH is converted into the NAD plus molecule. Now this malate, if it remains in the cytoplasm of the mesophyll cell, it would harm the plastids and chloroplasts or other cellular organelles. So it is not good to store it in the cytoplasm of mesophyll cell. So here this malate transported into the vacuole and there it is stored during the night time. So we know that when acid is there, the pH would be low. So this malic acid is stored now, and this is not used for the photosynthesis in the night time because there is no availability of energy rich compounds which it get only by the light dependent reactions. So now the next day during the daylight, what would happen? This malic acid from the vacuole comes into the cytoplasm of the mesophyll cell. So when it comes into the cytoplasm of mesophyll cell or when it leaves the vacuole, the pH would become higher. Why? Because this malate has transported into the cytoplasm of mesophyll cell. Now malate, with the help of the malic enzyme and also the involvement of one NADP plus, which converts into NADPH, energy rich compound, it releases out one carbon dioxide molecule and a pyruvate molecule. Now this carbon dioxide is freed here, which can be used or utilized in the Calvin cycle. We know that the first enzyme which fixes CO2 in the Calvin cycle or C3 cycle is Ribisco, which is a universal enzyme found in almost all the plants. Ribisco stands for ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate carboxylase, and here for fixing CO2, Ribisco carboxylase activity would be utilized. So this CO2 would be fixed with RUVP and will carry out the Calvin cycle, and ultimately it would lead to the production of the starch, pyruvate as well as Calvin cycle. So in this way, we have seen how the CAM plants or the CAM pathway is regulated. Here, there is a temporary division between the time period while the photosynthesis occurs in the same cell. But this is not the case with the C4 plants. There, the photosynthesis is especially divided between the mesophyll cell and the bundle sheath cell. And the other difference is carbon dioxide fixation in C4 plants occurs in the bundle sheath cells. While in the C3 plants as well as the CAM plants, carbon dioxide fixation occurs in the mesophyll cells chloroplast. Now, so other thing is you can see here stomata are open during the night while the stomata are closed during the daylight in order to reduce the evapotranspiration. So now we can summarize this process as I have discussed. Stomata of the CAM plants remain open to allow the CO2 to enter, which is then fixed into the oxaloacetic acid by PEP carboxylase, which is reduced to malate and stored in the vacuoles of the mesophyll cells. Now, the second point what we have learned is because the Calvin cycle cannot operate in night without ATP and NADPH, which are the products of light dependent reaction. Now, what are the steps in during the day? Stomata remains closed to reduce water loss by evapotranspiration, and malic acid is freed from vacuoles of mesophyll cells and enter into the chloroplast stroma in order to carry out the Calvin cycle to fix CO2. So in this way, photosynthesis occurs in the CAM plants, which are generally succulents such as cactus, pineapple, etc. So this is all about the today's lecture. In the next video series, I will take another topic, and photosynthesis lecture series is finished today. I will also make a lecture video on the question answer session with their proper explanation. So those who have not subscribed till now, in order to get the video lectures in biology for the NEET exam preparation, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.